Hey guys, how's it going? It's Kyra here with another Raid Shadow Legends video. And so it's been a minute since I've done a video on this game, but I figured with the Void Tower, and after trying it out for a bit, I want to talk about it. I want to see kind of going on. It's with the intention of this video being for if you quit or if you're coming back, is it worth it? Is this good content? Is this like something to actually want to try the game out again? So the Void Tower is essentially the first new content I've seen in the game in a very long time, probably well over a year. I think, yes, there was like Tag Arena, but I don't count that. Faction Wars, you almost can't count that. That got significantly better as like you progress through the game, and once people are ready for it, I think that actually becomes kind of fun. That's when I was leaving the game and it was getting more and more disinterested. That was essentially like the thing I wanted to do, which is weird. It's like it just felt so backwards, but it's actually like kind of fun. Because once you actually start to get the characters and you have a ton of 60s, it made it actually an enjoyable piece of content. You know, like this is where I left off. This was about 6 months ago. This is my roster. So that was like the fun part. But the part that I didn't like is that this whole game is about releasing new heroes and then you assuming you would like get those heroes and level up those heroes. But I already had everything done. I had like a speed farm, Dragon 20 team, you know, all the 20s, you know, Spider 20, all of those dungeons. What was it? All the ones I wanted to farm. So Fire Knight, Spider, and Dragon were all like quick farms. Those are done. Ultra Nightmare on a 2-key already had, you know, and then Faction Wars, I guess, was the only thing. And then there was no Lydia out yet, but it just felt like it was like, what's the point? Like, okay, so I get this new character, and then now what do? Do I just intentionally nerf my Dragon team, intentionally nerf those teams to now farm them? Then usually the content that never ends, or like the evergreen content, or however you want to say it, in these type of games is the PvP. Like I played a game like that in Star Wars Galaxy Heroes, where, you know, like essentially the PvP is where it's at, but the PvP is actually super fun in that game. Like, and then they enhance it to like Grand Arena, to it really takes like your whole roster, stuff like that. Then in that game, the PvE ended up not getting fun because that's something that naturally gets completed, but then they add more stuff, or they intentionally add a very in-depth PvP experience, so you don't get bored. You're always facing other people, and you're constantly needing to grow to be more competitive in those areas. So it just felt very backwards to me. Their track record of how quickly they release things, I just wasn't going to be on board of just banging my head against the wall doing the same things over and over for me to want to do that. And then now that the content's actually out, because I'm not hating on Raid, it's just if the game doesn't provide you what you want to do, just don't play it. It's not a big deal. So I ended up playing other games. If you see my channel, there's other games on there. And so now that the game potentially has something new to do, I want to give it a shot. And so far, like I missed a few days on it, but the Void Tower, or the Doom Tower, I should say, is actually really fun. And it's essentially like what I was. So pretty much what I was saying before is how Faction Wars actually got kind of fun near the end of the game for me as the roster got bigger, and then that became like a fun thing to theorycraft on, like what team should I use, which character should I actually level up, because it actually matters. Whereas all the other game modes were covered. I'm saying all that, and it's like, okay, why'd you quit then? If you actually enjoyed it, that's the thing. But I just don't feel like Faction Wars is enough for a game. This makes it to where when you have it's something like Faction Wars and something like this is the main thing, and then Faction Wars is a bonus in my opinion. That's like side content. Like you do that every day, and then it rotates. So you can't really get into a groove on which characters you want to use. You have one chance to do it. You have to prepare in advance. Something like that is on the side. Whereas this is like, okay, this is the main thing. This is using your main characters. You're not, as long as you're not on one of these side floors, these are your main rosters. So you actually get to use all your powerful characters in one team. And I've been finding that to be a lot of fun. I've been kind of going with this. I've been watching people like looking at all these speed runs people are doing. It's kind of cool that people are like one-shotting these waves and stuff. But I've just been kind of going a more sustained route. And like with CC, that's kind of been my strategy going in. And it seems to be working out. I think the bosses are actually pretty fun. In the beginning, that like all of these bosses have been pretty easy, but I like their concepts. I like that they're all brand new. Even like some of them are kind of similar to the other ones, like the spider ones, for example. Like this one is obviously very like the main spider, but I think they're all different enough to where it's interesting. Especially this guy, this beetle dude, when it came to the whole health thing, I thought that was a very cool thing that they implemented. And now there's a whole bunch of stuff to look forward to when it comes to the PvE side of the game. It depends on how you guys enjoyed with the game to see if this is something that's worth coming back for. For me, I don't know if I'm gonna play the game nearly as much as I used to. Like I wanted to like make a channel on it. Like I really enjoyed the game, and maybe there's one main thing I learned when it came to like leaving this game and going to other mobile games and stuff, because I still want to cover mobile games. That's what my channel's all about. Is all developers are always going to take longer than they should to make the content. There's very few games where I'm like, okay, there's issues with the game, they can improve it, and then they do it right on when I would expect. Like, oh man, it's about time they make a patch, and then boom, a patch comes out. It's always like months late, and in Raid's case, like 6 months to a year late, in my opinion. Playing these other games and having a whole bunch of choice in games to play, and then when one game's good, I really focus on that game. When one game's bad, I just don't really pick it up too much. And I've been having a lot more fun, and I get a lot more excited to play these games when I have all these options. So like right now I'm playing like Exos, playing Raid, playing Guardian Tales, and like between all three of them, if one game's kind of dull right now, like for example in Guardian Tales is kind of they do a 2-week cycle for their patches. It's kind of like the end of that 2 weeks. So been the last few days haven't really cared about Guardian Tales, whereas in Raid, like this is they just had a whole like a major update, so now I get to play this game. So it's been really nice to be able to bounce around between the games. Whenever one's kind of peaking, I get to really ride that thing and not get all discouraged when one game doesn't provide content for a very long time. But that's pretty much my thoughts on Void Tower. I think it's a very good content. It's just for so many people to play this game for so long, like there's definitely a lot of good things when it comes to this game. It's just unfortunate that it's taken this long for something like this. Even when getting this, it's like dope. Like this is exactly what people wanted 6 months ago. And I think people were, if we bring up the meme when it comes to the roadmap, yes, the roadmap's a meme. Yes, even 6 months ago, that roadmap I think was super wrong even 6 months ago, which is crazy to me. This game's still very popular for good reason. Because another thing too is leaving this game and playing other games is the amount of depth and you get in this game when it comes to choice and when it comes to like thinking about characters and like how all this gear works. And like, there's just so much depth when it comes to building, not only building your roster, but building your character and then picking which masters you want to go, picking specifically which gear type you want, which characters you want to actually level and book. There's definitely a lot of depth in this game. And that's what I do like about it, is that each character is like, okay, it takes a big in-depth breakdown on not only what you're going to run on them, but which game modes do you run those things on. Whereas not a lot of mobile games have that level of depth that Raid does. That's one thing that I think is pretty cool. Pretty much that's all I wanted to say about it. I just kind of want to give you guys my idea, like my thoughts on why I left the game initially, and then how just kind of how I think about the game, and then why it's actually something I want to come back to. And that's pretty much it. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think of Doom Tower. Did this live up to expectations? Is this a disappointment in your eyes? And with that, you guys have a good one. Peace.